Past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense describes an action that started in the past and continued up to another point in the past. Structure. Subject plus had been plus present participle. That is verb in the before. And rest of the sentence. Example. She had been studying for 3 hours before the exam started. Had been plus study plus study. This is the example sentence. And one more example. They had been waiting for the bus when it finally arrived. He had been working at the company for 5 years before he got promoted. They had been playing football for an hour when it started to rain. I had been studying all night before the test. She had been living in London before she moved to Paris. In all sentences, had been plus verb in the V form. Once again, check it. Had been plus V4. Had been plus V4. Had been plus V4. Had been plus V4. Okay? Next. And few examples. We had been waiting for the doctor for 30 minutes before he arrived. The children had been watching cartoons until their parents came home. It had been raining for hours before the sun came out. We had been talking on the phone for a long time before the battery died. Here are some exercises. Look carefully. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb in the past perfect tense, perfect continuous tense. She dashed the book for 2 hours before dinner. Here the verb is read. So, had been plus reading. She had been reading the book for 2 hours before the dinner. That is the answer. Okay. Next one. We dashed for the train when it finally arrived. We had been plus waiting. We had been waiting for the train when it finally arrived. Next. I dashed all day, so I was very tired. I had been studying all day. I had been studying all day, so I was very tired. Next. They dashed in the house since 2010 before they moved. They had been lived in the house since 2010 before they moved. Next. He dashed on the project for weeks before he submitted. He had been working on the project for weeks before he submitted. And one more exercise. Here are the answers. Had been reading, had been waiting, had been studying, had been living, had been working. These are the answers. Next one. Next, a small exercise here and one more exercise. Fill in the blanks with the correct past perfect continuous form of the verbs in the bracket. Here, the students dashed for playing for weeks before the performance. The students had been practicing. Dash. I dashed for my glasses for an hour before I found them. I had been looking for my glasses. She dashed as a teacher before she joined the university. She had been working as a teacher. Next. We dashed all night, so we were exhausted. We had been traveling. They dashed when the manager entered the room. They had been arguing. When the manager entered the room. These are the answers here. The students had been practicing. I had been looking for my glasses. She had been working as a teacher. We had been traveling all night. They had been arguing when the manager entered. Okay. One more exercise. Rewrite the following sentences in the past perfect continuous tense. He plays football for 2 hours. He had been playing football for 2 hours. He had been playing football for 2 hours. We wait for the results. We had been waiting for the results. Okay. She learns French before visiting Paris. She had been learning French before visiting Paris. I cleaned the house all morning. I had been cleaning the house all morning. They talked for a long time. They had been talking for a long time. I think all of you understand this exercise. Here are the example answers here. He had been playing football for 2 hours. We had been waiting for the result. She had been learning French before visiting Paris. I had been cleaning the house all morning. They had been talking for a long time. And one more multiple choice exercise is here. Multiple choice, choose the correct option. By the time we arrived, they dashed for over an hour. They had been waiting for an hour. She dashed in the garden before it started to rain. Answer it. She had been working. Okay. Next, third one. I dashed to call you, but my phone was dead. I had been trying. I had been trying to call you, but my phone was dead. The children dashed TV when the lights went out. The children had been watching TV. Okay. We dashed for parcel all morning before it came. We had been waiting. Had been waiting. Here are the answers for the above exercise. Had been waiting, had been working, had been trying, had been watching, had been waiting. Okay. And one more exercise. Error correction. Find and correct errors. She had been cooking for hours before the guests arrived. She had been. She had been cooking. She had been cooking. She had been cooking. They had been play football all afternoon. Had been plus verb in the before. Play changes into playing. They had been playing football all afternoon. I had been read the book before the movie came out. I had been reading the book. Next, he had been works. He had been working there for a long time before cutting. We had been trying to solve the problem. We had been trying to solve the problem. This is the corrected one. This is the mistaken. She had been cooked, not being cooked. Had been cooking. They had been play football, not playing. Had been read the book, not reading the book. Had been works there. Had been working there, not works. Not one. We had been trying, not been trying. Next, one more exercise. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb in the brackets. They dash wait for the concert to start for over an hour. They had been waiting. I had been studying. She had been painting. We had been driving. He had not been sleeping. Had not been sleeping. are the answer sentences. They had been waiting. I had been studying. She had been painting. We had been driving. He had not been sleeping. This is the last exercise. Make sentences using the past perfect continuous tense. Use the hints provided. John worked at the company 10 years before he resigned. John ఇక్కడ verb work ఉంది తనకేం రాయాలి had been working at the company for 10 years before he resigned. The children play outside all afternoon. Here the verb is play. The children had been playing outside all afternoon. Next, I wait for the bus 30 minutes before it arrived. I had been waiting. I had been waiting for the bus 30 minutes before it arrived. Next, fourth one. She had been crying. Cry becomes crying because she lost her phone. Last one. They build the bridge for months. They had been building the bridge for months. Here are the answers. Right. John had been working at the company for 10 years before he resigned. The children had been playing outside all afternoon. I had been waiting for the bus for 30 minutes before it arrived. She had been crying because she lost her phone. They had been building the bridge for months. Okay, thank you, children. I hope all of you understand this. Thank you. Thanks for watching.